It was one of those mornings that felt too perfect to go wrong. The sky was a sharp, cloudless blue. The air was cool, but warming up fast, and I had that giddy pre-road trip buzz running through me. My black sedan was parked at the curb, still shiny from yesterday's wash, packed with a cooler of sandwiches, a duffel bag full of clothes, and a playlist I'd been curating for weeks. This was supposed to be freedom, a no-itinerary hug-the-coast, see-where-the-road-takes-us kind of trip. I shot my best friend Marcus a text, "I'm outside." A minute later, his front door opened, and there he was, grinning like a kid on the first day of summer break, a huge backpack bouncing on one shoulder. I got out to help him with his bag, and we were laughing about some dumb meme when it happened. That voice sharp enough to cut glass cracked across the quiet morning, like a whip. "Hey, you think you can just roll up in here and case the place? I've seen your kind on the news." We both froze and turned toward the voice. Standing on the porch of the house next door was a woman who looked like she'd been teleported straight out of a bad reality show. Bleached hair teased within an inch of its life, a blinding pink velour tracksuit and sunglasses big enough to double as windshields. She was pointing a trembling finger right at me, her whole body vibrating with this wild, righteous fury. "What are you talking about?" Marcus asked, his voice calm but tight. "I'm talking about you two dealing drugs in broad daylight," she snapped. "And that car, bet it's stolen." I know what I see. I just stood there floored. I'd been to this driveway 100 times. Marcus had owned that house for 3 years. She had seen him mowing the lawn, getting the mail, waving hello. And now she was rewriting reality in real time, turning two guys standing in a driveway into hardened criminals. "Ma'am," Marcus said, holding his hands out like he was talking to a feral animal. "This is my house. That's my friend. We're going on a road trip. That's it." But she wasn't hearing a word of it. She let out this harsh, barking laugh, pulled a sparkly phone from her pocket, and announced with this horrible little smirk, "I'm calling the police. They'll search that car and haul you both to jail where you belong." That's when the cold dread hit me. She wasn't bluffing. And when you call in a burglary in progress with a possible weapon, which she loudly told dispatch, we had the police don't stroll up to chat. They come in hot. "Don't move toward the house, don't move toward the car," I said under my breath to Marcus. Hands visible. We wait. The next 10 minutes stretched into forever. Then came the sirens, first faint, then deafening. 2 cruisers flew around the corner, tires screaming blocked off the street. Doors slammed. Officers jumped out with guns drawn, shouting commands. Hands in the air. "Get on the ground." So there I was, face down on the concrete, hands laced behind my head, my cheek pressed against a pebble, heart hammering. Marcus was a few feet away in the same position. The whole neighborhood was watching. The woman in pink was on her porch, looking smug, like she'd just summoned divine justice. When the sergeant finally checked our IDs, confirmed Marcus owned the house, confirmed we had no record. The tone shifted. The guns were holstered, the cuffs came off, and we were free to go. Meanwhile, she got a warning about wasting police resources and went back inside like nothing had happened. We sat on the curb, wrists aching, adrenaline crashing hard. Marcus shook his head, jaw tight. "So that's it," she lies. "We get guns pointed at us and she gets a lecture." That was the moment something in him snapped. Marcus is a lawyer, corporate mergers and acquisitions, the kind of guy who spends his days reading contracts. But that morning, sitting on the curb with the phantom of a Glock still burned into his memory, he decided he was done playing nice. "We're not letting this slide," he said quietly. "Not this time. I'm filing a civil suit. Defamation, emotional distress, malicious prosecution, all of it." And that's when I told him something I'd never really said out loud. I'm not just a content strategist. I'm an investigative journalist. I spend my days digging up public records and exposing shady politicians." His face lit up. "Well then," he said with a grim smile, "let's ruin her week." We started with property records. The house next door wasn't owned outright, it was held in a trust. A Sunshine Senior Living Trust created by an elderly couple named Harold and June. 2 years ago, the trust was amended, Harold and June were declared incapacitated, and the new trustee with full control was our pink track-suited neighbor, whose real name was Elaine. Marcus frowned. "She's not family. She was listed as their caretaker, and now she controls their house." That was the moment this stopped being just about us. This was starting to look like elder fraud. For the next 2 days, Marcus turned his dining room into a war room. We dug through neighborhood Facebook groups and found a string of suspicious person posts, all describing people of color. We found the doctor who signed off on Harold and June's incapacitation had lost his medical license. The notary had a history of complaints. And not once had anyone seen Harold or June outside in the past year. We found their son David through public records and genealogy sites. His Facebook page told the rest of the story. He'd been trying to contact his parents for months and kept getting stonewalled by Elaine. When we called him, he was furious, but relieved. "I knew something was wrong," he said. "Every time I called, she said they were sleeping sick, confused. She even told me I was upsetting them and cut me off completely. The cops wouldn't do anything because she showed them the power of attorney." When David arrived the next morning, we went straight to the police station with a full dossier, trust documents, Facebook posts, shady doctor info, everything. This time we weren't 2 suspects. We were 3 citizens demanding action. And it worked. That afternoon, we watched from down the block as officers and an APS caseworker knocked on Elaine's door. She tried to block them, but the sergeant, the same one who had cuffed us, put his foot in the door. They had a warrant. She had no choice but to let them in. The wait was brutal. 30 minutes later, the door opened. The caseworker walked out, her face pale and grim. "They're alive," she said. "But they're heavily sedated. She's been telling them David died a year ago." Then we saw her Elaine being led out in handcuffs, her perfect hair a mess, her face pale and slack. No yelling this time, no smug smirk. Just a small, stunned woman who'd finally lost. Watching her get put in the back of that patrol car was one of the most satisfying moments of my life. The next few months were a blur. Harold and June were moved to a proper care facility, slowly weaned off the sedatives. My article about the case went viral. Marcus quit corporate law and started a nonprofit focusing on housing discrimination and false reporting. But it didn't end there. During her deposition for our civil suit, Elaine sneered. "You think you found everything. You didn't find what really mattered." And that's when we found the safe deposit box, the shiny box June had been crying about in the care facility. Inside were her birth certificate, social security card, and a forged passport with Elaine's picture, but June's name. She wasn't just stealing their money. She was trying to erase June completely and step into her life. We returned the family photo albums we'd found to June. She opened them slowly, page by page, whispering names and dates, tears streaming down her face. It was like handing her pieces of her life back one by one. That night, Marcus and I finally sat on his porch, beer in hand, watching the sun go down. "You realize," he said, "if she hadn't called 911 on us, none of this would have come out." "Yeah," I said, staring out at the quiet street. "She started this. But we finished it. So what do you think? Was justice served? Should false 911 calls like this carry the same weight as any other violent crime? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know where you stand.